Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Season 2, Episode 1 of Spartacus titled Past Transgressions. So, I don't think I ever mentioned it in my review of the Season 1 episodes, but the title for Season 1 was Spartacus, Blood and Sand. This one is Spartacus, Gods of the Arena. This is a prequel set, I don't know how many years before the show, first season. I think I read somewhere it was meant to just be a flashback episode in the original Season 2, but because of Andy Whitfield's cancer, they wanted to give him a chance to recover. So they made this instead, which is an absolute win. So we start off. So the arena all the games happen in the first season is not built yet. It's being built. So the old arena is basically kind of mixed between the pits and just a regular in the arena. So Batiatus is fighting. He's not in the stands because he's not important enough. But this other one, Vedius, is. Batiatus does not like Vedius because he's young, not from Capua. And, other things. Batiatus only has one gladiator in the fight, Gannicus, who fights in the same style as Theocles and Spartacus with two swords, no helmet and no shield. He ends up fighting, and then he gets distracted by some boobies, and ends up getting a cut, which pisses him off, so he stabs the sword in the ground and says, "Fuck it, we brawl." And just starts beating the shit out of him. And I'm glad they gave him a different characterization than the other champions of Spartacus, Animaeus, Amanus, whatever the fuck his name is. However the fuck you say his name. And Spartacus, Crixus, and Animaeus. Spartacus is rageful, but he does have honor. Crixus is proud to be the champion. He believes in the games. While Animaeus is dutiful and honorable to a point. Gannicus don't give no fucks. He knows he's a slave. He knows that he could die anyway. He's got the skills to back up his give no fuckness. This man's give no fucks. I'm pretty sure this man went into the fighting with no fucks to give. This man's last fuck was taken away when he was enslaved or what. I do love that while, yes, there is prominence on Batiatus, Lucretia, and Ancelonius, and Crixus, and Animaeus, it does mostly show. It also gives prominence to other characters like Gannicus. Because we know all these other people are going to survive, but we don't know anything about Gannicus. I mean, if you knew history, you knew that Gannicus would probably live, but this show is not exactly proud to be historically accurate, so for all we know, Gannicus could very well die. Well, he wins his battle, but unfortunately, he doesn't hear Batiatus telling him not to kill the man, as the main specters, the magistrate, and Tullius, the man who's basically funding the new arena, have yet to arrive, and so they miss the kill. Nevertheless, Batiatus orders him to be rewarded. It should be noticed that Animaeus is not the Docturi, another man is, played by Boba Fett. Boba Fett's Tamora Morrison, who was Boba Fett. And who's Boba Fett, Jango Fett, yeah. Anyway. We also meet Melita, who is Animaeus' wife and another slave. We also meet Gaia, who is a friend, and is now going to be staying at the villa. A friend of Lucretia, and is going to be staying at the villa. This show is awesome, because it basically has to it has to take all the characterization from the first season and just throw it out the window. And now we get to see how, and now instead of season 1, episode 1 being point A, because of this prequel, it's now point B. So, while the first thing what we thought we saw was point A to point B, now because of this prequel, it's now point B to point C. So now we have to show what point A is. And point A has Batiatus and Salonius being bros. Dear God, that's so funny. And it also shows how far that Batiatus has fallen. And also is going to show how all of them have fallen. Lucretia and Batiatus. Both of them. We also see Asher, who was already being a Weasley shit. He's the interpreter for his fellow Assyrian, who can't speak anything but their native tongue. And he has power over that. He can listen what that man says and just say it differently to fit his needs. And then manipulate, and then since he doesn't understand his friend doesn't understand the language, Asher can tell him anything, again, fitting his own needs. Crixus is not a gladiator under Batiatus. He is, in fact, a laborer under Tullius. He orchestrates a fight in the hopes that Batiatus or Salonius will notice him so he can be a gladiator. Which kind of shows that he always wanted to be a gladiator. Maybe it's because of the fighting. Maybe he comes from a culture where fighting is considered honorable, so he wants to at least do something even if he's a slave. I don't know. Oenomaus is a year removed from his Theocles fight, and he's trying to show Batiatus that he can still go. And it shows that Oenomaus has a friendship with Barca, and it kind of gives you the added, context of Barca wasn't just a pupil to Oenomaus. He was his friend. They were once equals. So that also, gives good reason why Oenomaus was going after Barca's death like a bloodhound. So Batiatus meets up with Tullus and Vettius, where Batiatus boasts that any one of his men could fight any one of Vettius' men blindfolded and win. So Vettius proceeds to agree and then manipulate, and Batiatus agrees. So they meet with Gannicus. So he goes and asks Oenomaus if his best man is up for the fight. Oenomaus mistakenly believes it's him, which is quickly, changed by the fact that Batiatus was talking about Gannicus. And it also shows that Batiatus is grooming Oenomaus to be the new Doctori. As earlier he had asked Oenomaus to train the Crixus. So he also says that the current Doctori is basically his father's man who is still alive and doesn't have a good relationship with his father. Batiatus doesn't. So Gannicus and Salonius, Lucretia, and Batiatus arrive, and Vettius pulls out a blindfold. He's like, well, you said your best man could beat mine blindfolded. And this is a good power move by Vettius. It's going to be taking away, hopefully, Batiatus' best man in a streaks like a common dog. So Batiatus gets no money and no glory. And I just love the facial expression after that. Gannicus gave Batiatus like, you said I could do what? But again, because Gannicus' life motto is fuck it, we ball. It also should be noted that Gannicus himself even admitted that it should be Oenomaus, but whatever. Also, another new character is a slave to Lucretia named Dione or whatever. Anyways, Gannicus wins, And it's not like it's because he's and he wins in a believable way. He starts it off by just, immediately getting into a grappling so he doesn't have to continue dodging it. And then he manipulates it to where the man gets his sword stuck in a wood beam, so Gannicus can slit his throat with the stuck sword. Tullus agrees to meet Batiatus, so he goes to meet him. Unfortunately for Batiatus, Tullus is in league with Vettius, and he's trying to buy Gannicus. Batiatus doesn't give in and ends up getting the shit kicked out of him and then pissed in the face. Meanwhile, while this is happening, his wife is tripping balls, and I'm pretty sure she's having sex with Gaia. It was so funny because it would intercut between him getting his shit rocked and then Lucretia and Gaia being intimate. It was honestly funny. And sad. I am really glad they did show this. They showed Batiatus getting his shit kicked in, pissed on, being made a fool of. Because we just watched like 10 episodes of Batiatus being a piece of shit. They needed to kick this man so low that we have to at least pity him so we can like him. Because he's going to be one of our main characters. He's going to be our protagonist, basically. So we got to at least kind of like him. And I do love that. Overall, I think this was a strong episode to start. And I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want. And I'll see you in the next video.